Welcome back to The Polity, coming to you live from the Abuja studio of Kaftan Television. My name is Dayo Mogwan. Now I can bring in my guests. And today, next to me, seated next to me is Sanya Adejokun. Is that correct?
Adejokun.
Adejokun. Right, Adejokun. And he, for some time, was head of bureau chief of the Nigerian Tribune. And after that, he disappeared somewhere that he has refused to tell me. And then now, he's a very articulate, deep public affairs analyst, and you will see it here in the course of this show. Welcome, Sanya.
Thank you, Daya.
Right. And the gentleman at the extreme corner is very handsome, very young, gray-haired, Cosmas Uzodinma, who used to be the chief press secretary to the minister of the FCT, and is a public affairs analyst, a writer, a great MC, everything rolled into one. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you, our very distinguished audience. God bless you.
Thank you so much for coming. Now, so quickly, we can hit the ground right now as we talk about the high points of the journey that we have had since independence. If you had 5 major things to talk about, what would they be?
5 in 65 years.
In 65 years.
Yeah, maybe I'll look at good things.
It doesn't
or events.
I mean, general.
I'll look at the Civil War.
Correct. Yeah.
I'll look at Murtala Muhammad, late. I'll look at 1994, or is it 1984? And then I'll look at, right now, the Fourth Republic.
What's significant about 1984?
That's when
Buhari
came to power.
He actually came to power 31st December 83, but okay, that was just one day.
January, yeah.
Right, okay.
It was at midnight anyway.
You're still correct, okay. So that makes that significant for you. Those are 4 events, right? Is that complete 5?
Okay, you need 5, you need another one. Maybe the election of President Tinubu.
All right, okay. What will it be for you, Cosmas?
Well, thank you. I will look into the foundational issues. You know, what the amalgamation, and then.
But that's pre-1960 now. Yes, you're taking us even far behind, beyond. Okay.
It is what brought us to.
It's 1960 in the first instance.
1960.
Right.
Something brought us to 1960.
Yeah.
And then I'll look at the independence era. I'll look at the immediate post-colonial politics. You know, a number of issues that came in within those period. Then I'll look at, like he said, the Murtala Muhammad years.
Right.
Especially against the background of the international political aspect of it. Angola, South Africa, and all those things rolled into one at that period in time.
Right.
And then we go into, that's 3 now.
That's 3.
I'll go into the emergence of Obasanjo.
Okay. That's 1999.
The politics that brought us to the Fourth Republic.
Right.
The Fourth Republic. And then maybe since he has spoken about the election of Tinubu, I'll look into the election of Buhari. And
so none of you will look at the IBB years.
The emergency. I'll look at how did they put it? The death of Yaradua.
All right.
And what do you call it?
That makes it 5 already, right?
The doctrine of necessity.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
that's one.
Yes.
That's one divided into 2.
Yes.
Because
that's what I'm saying at that time.
Yeah, death of Yaradua, stroke, the doctrine of necessity.
Yeah, well, June 12, when we talk about that, we're looking into all those things.
Yeah.
June 12.
If time permits, of course, we extend it beyond the 5 you've listed.
Yes.
Let's take one of them, and let's...
okay, let's look at the Civil War.
Any one of them, in whatever order.
Let me start with the Civil War. It was I believe it's the most significant event that has affected us as a country, as a country, since independence, because it reshaped everything. It actually led to the polarization that we're still feeling till today. The effects are still with us. People are still bitter. As a country, we have not gone past it.
We're still stuck.
Yeah, we are still stuck in it, and it is really, really affecting the way we look at ourselves as a people. You know, it's people are still angry. There are still a lot of distortions about it. Everybody is still sticking to their points of view. You know, people from a side are still saying they were right. People on the other side were still saying they were right. And even though General Gowon declared no victor, no vanquished at the end of the war, but the pains are still there, very visible. And even though we are entering about the third or even the fourth generation, maybe third generation right now, we have not really addressed it. From generation to generation, the bitterness continues, and rather than it abating, it is further being exacerbated. So I think that until we are able to foreclose it, one way or the other, things may not remain the same for us as a nation.
You know, I'm surprised that you didn't raise it as one of your high points. Maybe you were avoiding repeating whatever he had chosen.
Yes,
all right, okay. So I'd like you to weigh in on that. Why he talked about the bitterness. Now, the bitterness is that a feature of a particular side to the conflict, or is it on both sides? Before I go to him,
the bitterness is on the side of those who are on Biafra's side.
Right.
Yeah, because they felt that they weren't properly treated.
Do you think that is justified?
It depends on how you look at it. You see, in any conflict, the two sides will have something, we have blames. There will be enough blame to go around. And so that's why I said, until, as a nation, we are able to come to a reasonable conclusion, look at it dispassionately. Because right now, I don't believe that we are looking at it dispassionately. We have not really addressed it as a nation. We are parrying it. Officially, we are parrying it. I don't know if you understand what I mean. Government is not saying anything. Everybody is sticking to their point of view, to their positions. And so it doesn't portend well.
Does it not behove, I'm sorry I'm taking so much time on this and with you, does it not behove of the father in this crisis, if you like, the federal government, to really take this step of ensuring that there's healing and that there's closure?
Exactly, that's what I meant when I said that we have not looked at it as a country. Yeah, I think government is a continuum.
Exactly.
And if any government looks at it, and that will be all forever.
That's it.
I mean, you can't have a reversal, but no government has really touched it. You know, no government. Everybody is parrying it. We are pretending as if it doesn't really matter or that it will go away.
And it cannot
but
go
I don't
away
think that it will go away.
Especially when it looks as if there is some veiled marginalization, because that's what they feel. Let me bring you in.
Yeah, you know, that's what makes me say that the pre-colonial, from the amalgamation days to all those periods to the point where the Civil War didn't just happen. It was a response to certain mines that were laid, and those mines simply exploded in the mid-60s onto the war. And the end of the war was not properly handled. I was just discussing. I was in Kigali. You can imagine something that happened in 1984. There has been a healing in Rwanda.
Just 84.
Just 84. That's a healing. And their own was worse.
Yeah.
Because ours, when I look at what happened in Kigali, because after going to Rwanda, I visited Rwanda, I came back, I went to the genocide. memorial. I bought a book, and I've just finished reading that book. You were sitting down, your neighbor. People saw those who were killing their husbands, their neighbors. People saw people who killed. Almost everybody knows who killed. Every Tutsi knows who killed his son, who killed her husband, who killed whatever. They knew. At the end of the war, they knew who looted their property, all the rest of them. Yet, they were able to heal. They brought everybody together. But that was what Obasanjo tried to do.
Through the Oputa panel. Exactly.
But the Oputa panel was so elitist. It was so elitist. In Rwanda, they set up places inside communities. So people came in various communities. Some people were saying, we are sorry. Some people were saying, we apologize. Some of the killers were apologizing. And there was also the role of faith in all these things. But basically, Gowon came up and said, no victor, no vanquished. And the 3 R's, rehabilitation, reconstruction, and reconciliation. And what happened? Nothing happened. He just mouthed it. But I don't blame him, because he was like a placeholder. The cabal that had the power then did not allow him to do anything, led by people like Murtala Mohammed. They were the powers that be in that place. And so he was also trying to do, otherwise something would have happened, bring people together. Maybe Biafrans will say, this is where we erred, we are sorry. And Nigeria will say, look, this is where we erred, we are sorry. And what do we go? We move forward. But at the end of the day, what seems to be happening is a number of intellectuals in the Southeast is like, what they are, not only that the Civil War ended, is that people who are patriotic enough to lead us have never been given the chance. When you finish an election, people go somewhere and cancel the election and then impose somebody who is not a physical expression of the people's mandate, and that becomes what we call what do we call them? They're like a pilot, people like that. They come in, they do anything, and they don't even care, because if the governors know what they're doing, and there will still have been enough a kind of healing. But a number of them, they just, we call them helicopter politicians, helicopter governors.
What do you mean by that?
Well, they don't, literally, most of them don't reside in the South.
Oh, okay. okay. Now, when you say Gowon did nothing, and when you say that it looks as if, what was the Aburi Accord about? 1. 2, when you just talked about the 3 R's, right? Yeah. And I think that out of the 3 R's, that's what gave birth to the National Youth Service Corps, right?
Yeah.
Didn't that do anything?
Yeah, the National Youth Service Corps was something that was done almost a national thing. Get us to know ourselves. And one of the games is, you could see Betty Akeredolu was married to the governor. A number of us came in, for us to get to understand our various culture. But
you don't think that
is still elitist. It's not only that, there was a federal government college system.
Exactly.
Was also introduced.
Yeah.
That's still the man on the street, the trader, the market woman.
That does not go to any school.
That didn't go to school. That didn't go to secondary school. Up till my age, many people, about 60% of people of my age, didn't proceed to secondary school when you were doing federal government college. They finish, they go to learn business. They go to Gabon, go to Onitsha, go to places. So when you do federal government college for a handful of people who attend those schools, and then do NYSC for a handful of people, and most of all, the NYSC right now is being abused. There's no more, people are no longer going. So it didn't profit anything. So I think there were nothing that we could point that this is what, that if you go to South Africa, there are a number of things that were done, like there are rules that have been placed to enable the black South Africans to return to the economy. There were a number of infrastructures. I went there. The ANC is doing so much inside the hinterland, putting water, putting roads, putting everything in order to so that there'll be a healing of the apartheid days.
All right, now let me take you up
But it's
further.
not happening here.
Yeah, let me take you further. We had a situation where even the person who led that, what will we call it now, the civil war on the side of the East, on the side of the Biafrans, was granted a state pardon, right? After some years that he came, after staying outside,
Yes.
and when he came in, he got state pardon. Shouldn't that have done some, been some palliative, some?
I still say this is elitist. Remember, the war ended,
Yeah.
and every Igbo man that had any amount of money whatsoever in the bank. A number of people say every Igbo man was given 20 pounds. It's not so. It's not so. It is those who had money in the bank. And as at that time, do you know, as I'm talking to you now, there are so many local governments that don't have banks in Nigeria. They don't have banks.
And now compare that with
with that time.
with 1970.
So it is only those who had money in the bank. When you go for your money, you are given 20 pounds. So it is.
Okay, you are saying that didn't even.
The pardoning of Ojukwu is elitist, as I'm saying. But
yeah, but if he's the symbol
Yes.
of that fight, and he was granted state pardon, that should go a long, long way to say to the people who he led that right now there's an open arm of embrace, and we can deal now.
There are scars. There were scars, which are the economic scars, infrastructural scars, educational scars, so many scars.
Properties were returned.
Not at all. It's Ojukwu's own that was finally returned in this state. You are talking about the abandoned property.
Yes.
There were don't talk about that, Robert. And those military people who presided over the abandoned property something, till today they shared it to their children. Most of you see people who are not even Rivers people. You see people who are not even Igbos, who are coming from some part of Nigeria, having houses in Port Harcourt, out of the abandoned property houses. It was just like the military shared it amongst their families, amongst themselves, with a few Rivers people who said they're not Igbo, that they were cheated. So they gave them, most of them were shared among themselves. Nothing was returned.
Now let's
except maybe, I want to, in the north, for instance, my uncles had houses in Kefi. They came back and took their houses.
Wow.
I am telling you, I lived in Kefi. I was a survivor. Our train was the last train that passed River Benue. The next one coming was stopped, and everybody was pulled out. Every man was pulled out and butchered in the bridge at Makurdi Bridge. But what I'm saying here is not to go back to this. What I'm saying is that, but at the end of the war, Northerners allowed Igbos to own back their houses.
Wow.
But where that was not allowed was even in Rivers State, because it's deliberate to put in a knife into the things that hold us together.
Like Chino Achebe would say. Now, so you were itching to say something.
Yeah, and that's why I was insisting that these things should have been addressed frontally.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of misconceptions. Yes. This 20 pounds issue is not being properly handled. I believe that the narrative is not straight. Yeah. Now, the point is this. If I have the money that we are talking about, there were no records of it. No records.
What do you mean there were no records? Of the people who received them, or what?
Of the banks. Because the banks that we are talking about were burnt. Especially in the Midwest.
Okay.
Yes, in the Midwest. Or if we are going back home and you withdraw all the money that you had from a bank, and you took it home, there was no record of how much, and you exchange it for Biafran currency. And then when you are coming back, how does the federal government know what it's worth? I don't know whether you understand what I'm talking about. So that point, that issue of 20 pounds.
Because it's a very sore point for the average
Exactly. And that's why I said we should have looked at it and explain it properly. Okay, I have money. People were returning home, Abi, and then they withdrew their money and went back home. When they exchanged it for Biafran pounds. So when the war ended and they were coming back, that money was worthless because the republic ceased to exist.
Yes.
So how do you determine the worth of that money? Because right now you say a naira is $1,500
yes.
to $1.
Yeah.
So how do you determine the worth of an expired currency? How?
Let me
And then let's also
you know my fear.
No, let me finish.
Spend the entire time.
No. Let me quickly add this one. Those who did not withdraw their money went back, and their money was there in the bank.
Is that correct?
No. No. You see, you've had it always, doesn't it? You see, if, for instance, people left Lagos, if you say the banks were burnt, when you begin to say things like that, it becomes spinning and framing.
Right.
But when we look at something like, I'm happy when you said looking this thing frontally and addressing it. You see, if there are people who will come out and say, well, I went in, I saw all my money. Like the case of Otumba Balogun and Ekweme.
Yeah.
It's in the public space between two individuals.
It wasn't a government thing.
It wasn't a government
just
thing.
Trust between.
It's everywhere. This man came back, told him, oh boy, he be like say, with the wrong. He said, make you take charge of my property. He left. When he came back, the man carried his entire rent and gave him and says, see your house. It's there. So this one you are saying now, me that was there, I wasn't too much of a baby. You understand? Being born 59. By the time these things were happening, we were already, knowing the children. My parents had money too. My mother, they all had money. You see, if you said some people came to the bank, like if you talk about record, were records, Igbo money in Lagos also, records burnt us?
No, please.
So I want to apply a flat to
No. I want us to be very careful. This is not like I said. I'm not government.
Yeah, sure.
We are just looking at this issue, and I'm basing it on facts that are there in the public space. Is there anyone who did not withdraw his money from the bank and then government confiscated it? Yeah.
But it was a policy.
I think that there's some confusion there.
No.
If you ask that question, and you also said that those banks were burnt in the Midwest, for instance. Yes. Those banks were burnt. Right. So there was no record. Okay. But in other parts, if the man that was living in Ibadan, for instance, or in Lagos, or in Akure, who did not withdraw his money when he was returning home, are you saying that money was confiscated? And it was a universal policy. No, was it not confiscated?
No.
Let's do this.
It wasn't. Who did?
So who and who? Are you? Those people didn't they get?
It was people.
Part of the 20
It was people who withdrew their money, and when they were coming, they only had Biafran currency. Those were the ones that were given £20
in exchange for whatever they had.
In exchange for whatever we had.
No, it's not so.
All
right. We're going to have to make progress.
It is people. Any money you had in the bank, it was law. It was a policy. It's like the policy in Rivers. All houses belonging to Igbos confiscated and allocated to people. That one is clear. Even if it went even up to Lagos, some people, known houses were also confiscated in Lagos.
It didn't happen in Yoruba land.
Look,
it didn't.
It happened.
It didn't.
Ojuku's houses. When was it returned?
Ojukwu, yeah, that's Ojukwu, because Ojukwu was
the warlord.
Ojukwu was the warlord. That's different. But for ordinary citizens, I would like to have one example.
No, but I said it. I said it that Otumba, people like Otumba kept those houses.
Exactly.
And,
it didn't happen.
Yes.
You should be careful.
That's the thing.
All right. So now let's make progress. Let's make progress. We need to go visit one of your, whichever one that you want to prioritize among the 5 that you listed before.
The issue is, what happened is in the Nigerian independence, the way the parties emerged.
Political parties
that led us to independence. We had Jamia Mutani Arewa, which started as an Hausa cultural group, finally orientating the North into having one, body, one emotion, one this thing. Socialize them into look. They entered national politics under that one basket. Then while we were there, Awolowo started the Egbe Omo Oduduwa, which was a cultural group, first of all uniting the people, and then when independence came, they moved, it transmuted into a political party, and became a political party, became the Yoruba umbrella. But the East, I think ours was a political misadventure because there was nobody in the Southeast to set up maybe Ohaneze Ndigbo.
Right.
Pre-independence Ohaneze Ndigbo.
Right.
And then use that place to maybe form
as a platform to
what became known as ABGA, which became a desperate attempt for the Igbos to have their party, which was ABGA.
Okay.
That was a ABGA which came in late. But what happened was Zik came in, and the Igbos felt that this is Igbo man. Zik wasn't an Igbo person. He didn't have that amongst all the leaders. This is a man that was born in Zungeru. His father just took him to Onitsha half-mindedly. Go and stay with your grandmother so that you can learn a bit of Igbo. And after that, he came back. He went to school. Started in Hoprodel in Calabar. Started school in Zungeru. Then after that, he went to school in CMS Grammar School. And after that, he moved over to abroad. And when he came back, he has already been schooled in Pan-Africanism. He read about Dubois, Marcus Garvey, all of them. And when he came back into Nigeria, he didn't even stay in Nigeria. He ran to Accra to start his West African pilot. So he wasn't an Igbo man in heart and spirit. And when he came back, and he and Adesanya and what was his name, Macaulay, they formed the NCNC, which was a pan-Nigerian party. So we entered Nigeria, Nigerian politics without forming an Igbo politics. And so that's why we became scattered. So when people now were, before anything happened, they'll go and sit down in the palace and finish it and come in.
And Igbos didn't have that kind of...
Yes, before anything happens in the West, they will sit down at Egbe Omo Oduduwa and finish it. Igbos didn't have that party. We didn't have that. We just had... we had a superstar who was bearing Igbo name, and we were following him, and that became our undoing in Nigerian politics.
Ordinarily, shouldn't that be celebrated?
It ought to have been celebrated, but what happened is, I think a lot of things had to do with British intelligence agency. Look, because this man was trying to build one Nigeria. But I think a lot of British embassy ambassadors and a lot of those diplomats, started sowing seeds. So people should better watch that boy. In fact, they had to say it. So, like I'm saying, it should have been celebrated. But what happened? It was dismantled with the election in the West, where NCNC won and was headed to, providing the government in the West. And what happened? The famous or infamous cross-carpeting had to occur, and that was suddenly it was like the wind has blown. So Igbos now started grappling to find a place under the sun, and then we caused a very serious harm to the Eastern Nigerian politics by going to root out Eyo Ita, who was a cross-river man, heading the government. Professor Eyo Ita, fantastic man. So people like Mbono Jike told him, look, Zik has been trapped in the West, as a whole Zik was trapped in the West as a leader of opposition in the Western House of Assembly. So how can you keep Zik there? So please do something. Step down, let Zik become the president, become a governor at least. Eyota said no. He will not, he wasn't going to resign. Yeah. So that was why they now had to pass a vote of no confidence, as is consistent, as is normal in the parliamentary system of government. They immediately passed a vote of no confidence. Eyota was defeated. Zik came back to become the governor of the south of Eastern region, and the people, the core state, cross Ogoja and River State, they all revolted. That is where our problem with our neighbors started. That was where it started. People like Uzodinma, Eyoita, they were livid. So and they quit and they went.
Okay, so that's how the what should have formed a bigger southeast
coalition.
Yeah,
that's how it was damaged. But people, I say Alabi or saying something. I was like, he said it in his book snappily. And so when people write books that are not informed, so when I saw what he wrote, he didn't get it right. That was what happened. It wasn't as if the
sometimes when we make errors, it might not be that it is deliberate to hurt. Yes. It might be out of ignorance or out of the level of understanding. And so maybe we should leave him with that.
Maybe yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I like that. So this is what happened.
Yeah. So now let's make progress. Maybe I should come back to Sanya. What are you taking next?
Okay. Let me look at the Buhari years, the early Buhari years,
as military
head of state.
And why is somebody not listing the IDB years? I think you should.
I will take the IDB years.
Yes, I mean those are 8 years of dribbling and all kinds of
marathons. You see, the reason why I'm doing this is this: it's like building it. You know, you can't have IBB without having Buhari.
So when you
let's continue to build it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that
because both of you mentioned Murtala, maybe we have skipped him. Are we going to go back to him? Or just go ahead.
Murtala actually was like an interregnum. It didn't stay long.
Exactly.
And even though I have always believed that nature was very fair to him.
Very kind to him. I'm so happy for the first time that I have somebody who thinks this way.
Yeah.
If he had stayed longer, he would have been tainted. What is counting for Murtala till tomorrow, that's my belief, is the fact that he stayed just 6 months. If he had stayed 2 years, the same story with Yaradua. And that's why sometimes I tend to agree with, quote and unquote, I tend to agree with Tinubu doing what he did on the first day, because after 6 months he wouldn't have the goodwill. He would have been so pressured down, he wouldn't be able to make that pronouncement.
Yeah, sure.
But that's an answer. That's an answer.
So okay, let me take Murtala and then dovetail into and say that Murtala wasn't an untainted politician.
All right.
No, he wasn't. I would describe him as a politician. Forget whether he was military or not. He was a politician, because we all remember. Well, we read it in history. What happened in the Midwest when he was leading the army, and how New Nigerian Bank was boggled and destroyed, and so on and so forth. Well, I would also say that what he did when he had the opportunity to overthrow Gowon was probably to also make atonement, some kind of atonement for the sins that he committed during that civil war. And so he came and did his own, and then he sacked a lot of people, because what we are still saying, the thing is, once something is planted and the root begins to germinate, until something happens and
To
we are
uproot
able
it.
to completely remove all the tap roots, all the little roots that it has bored into the ground, it will continue to affect. And we are still seeing it up to today, because people still attribute the disruption in the civil service, in the federal government structure, to what happened during Murtala, when suddenly he sacked many civil servants. And then you remember that before that time, people were living in government houses. It was a good thing, when, you know, coming from independence, when you are a graduate and you join the civil service, they give you a house, they give you a car, and so you are not bothered really about building your own houses, buying your own cars. You are living in, and it was furnished apartments.
So you didn't have the pressure.
So they didn't have the pressure that I have to prepare for my retirement. And then suddenly he came, and whether right or wrong, he sacked so many people. And then people now realize that this kind of thing can happen to me again. And so that's where corruption really germinated.
But you see, before then, corruption had also been
corruption is a part of this world.
Then.
You know, corruption is, if not more.
Then, what I got there was 10%.
You know, corruption is part of this world from the beginning. Don't forget, Judas Iscariot was corrupt, and that's how many years ago now. So corruption is not is inherent in human being. Don't forget that when God created man, it was with 50% chances of good and 50% chances of evil. So it depends on your socialization, how you grow up, or how, when you begin to meet people, that you now decide where to tilt. So that's why it now boomeranged, to the point that even we have later day saints who are generals, who are probably head of states later, who are also presidents later, who we know were very corrupt then, because we also remember this issue of nationalization of assets, and you know, Nigerianization,
where BP became
and we know people who bought more than what they are supposed to buy. Even when the supreme military government council also said that we as a group must not have shares in this thing, so that people will not say we are doing it because of ourselves. We know part of them who still went ahead and bought, who were supposed to be retired, but there were pleadings and say, if you retire this person, it will seem as if blah 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 blah. I don't want to mention names now. So what we are saying is that thing was planted at that time, and then Murtala died. You remember, Murtala started importing. There's something we call the Murtala meat. During that time, he imported a lot of beef that we were eating.
Corn beef?
Not corn beef. Beef, really.
Real?
Yes, beef. He imported it. In the southwest, there we call it Murtala. You know, he imported them. Things were cheaper. Now, that was also a mistake. It was a mistake carried from Gowon era, when he said the problem that we had was how to spend our money.
Too much money.
Yeah, because if he had said, let's look inwards, let's begin to plan on how to have local production, probably the problem that we are still trying to solve right now won't be there. But it happened. So I continue to maintain that Murtala was favored. So he left early, and then we continue forever. His record will be clean, because we will say that, So it went on, Obasanjo, and then Buhari came. Yeah. And then even right now, I see some people still trying to deodorize Buhari's first coming in office. I didn't then, and I won't now. Because I don't believe in autocracy, and the kind of autocracy that was also biased. You know, you set a standard which you are not keeping. They didn't keep that standard.
Even when they tried, I mean, it showed in how certain governors were treated and how
themselves were treated.
Exactly.
We still remember the case of 53 suitcases. We still remember. We still remember it today. We still remember how late Tunde Ediagbon took his underage son to Mecca, even when that government said that no underage child will go to Saudi Arabia pilgrimage during that year. But you remember when they were overthrown, that he went with his son.
Yeah.
Okay,
maybe that was not his own regime, but we still remember, and that has to do also with Buhari, the 2.8 billion naira.
That was scandal. I wouldn't want to because it's not neither here nor there.
But it still has something to do with him. Let's go on.
No, because he was a petroleum minister
at the time. Go ahead.
So it happened like that, and I believe that it was his misbehavior, his high-handedness, because I don't believe that human beings should be treated like animals. Even right now, we have animal rights advocates who will insist that you cannot be cruel to animals.
Right.
So why will you be cruel to human beings? I remember a particular day that. No, that's personal. So don't let me get into personality. They were very, very brutal. I remember in those days too. It was still the era of NSO. There was no DSS then, Rafin Daddy, and then they just photocopied Idiagbon's Decree 2 detention of persons paper, and then they just photocopied it, and in the barracks when two women fought, one man will just come and fill the name of the husband there, and then they will just take people into detention. I also still remember how they treated the politicians then.
Exactly.
The way they treated northern politicians
was quite different.
It was different from the way they treated southern politicians. So those were double standards that I will not support.
What you have just said happened in the case of Ekweme, for example.
Yes.
Happened in the case of Onabanjo.
Awolowo.
Happened in the case of
Shagari.
And
we know how they treated them. Look at Ekweme, who was vice president thrown into detention, and then you put the president in he was put on house arrest.
That's
in his own home, enjoying all the benefits of life.
He was in his house.
So there's no way that I will support what happened during
Then don't forget about the decrees that had the
retroactive effect. Yeah, the killing of these those three people
and the other.
Yeah, so So it goes straight into.
Let's go into the IBB.
Babangida. Murtala Mohammed, one of the areas.
Okay, you still want to come from Murtala?
I want to come from there.
All right.
We have forgotten another man, the editor of New Breed.
Okoli.
Steve Okoli, who wrote everything, exposed Murtala from the beginning to the end. Plus the houses, a whole street he almost had in Kano of houses. He was arrested and detained because of that. That was one of the things that led to the end of New Breed. But I can say that IBB is the father of modern Nigeria.
Really?
As far as I'm concerned. Yeah, he was a military man, but he tried to balance, and against certain economic policies we're having today, like, divesting state interest in a lot of businesses, in a lot of corporations, like bankings. Under him, I think a lot of banks started coming. Private banks started coming. Under him, private media started blooming. Under several things he did. And then, and it was a little bit more been, open and friendly.
Okay.
That was what we can give to him. And IBB again was a person that was enamored to people. He was enamored to people. Yes, there were coups that tried to beat him, but you notice that it was his time. Well, trying to create states. For me, I don't think those things are very important in trying to divide, creating multiplying consumption centers rather than building things that can improve. But again,
when you hold that position,
his biggest pitfall was from his own book, his inability to rein in people who were against the election, the famous June 12th.
And
The fact that
he admitted to it. Yes.
And he admitted that it showed that you know, he was being it wasn't him that was in charge.
Whose fault
It
was
was
that
the
be?
cabal. It was his fault.
All right.
It was his fault. You know, he was ruled by. It has always been the cabal. Even under Gowon, when we try to blame Gowon was like a placeholder for Murtala Mohammed. That yes.
As far back as then.
As far yes, Gowon was a placeholder. Gowon was not the person that was meant to be the head of state. But the British government told them, look, the narrative is that this thing is a Christian-Muslim war. So why not give Gowon a chance so that we, Britain, will be able to tell the European powers that actually it is tribal, not religious. So that was why they were kind of... Otherwise, the person who was in charge of that coup was Murtala Mohammed. And when they were going to hold a meeting, they were in Ikeja cantonment. Murtala Mohammed was with his boys, all in Ikeja cantonment. And when the British ambassador was coming to address him, he was coming with Gowon. The fact that Gowon was too close to Aguiyi for comfort, they even rejected it. So it was the cabal. So when finally Gowon became the president, became the head of state, and the war ended, it was a simple thing to push him out. That was why it was the Murtala Mohammed coup against Gowon. It was one of the easiest coup anybody can do because he wasn't rooted. They simply used Joe Garba to make an announcement, and he left. But that was it. But the same thing with IBB. IBB, you notice, he wasn't in charge. It was a cabal that was holding him. And no matter that area, he wouldn't tell us. But from what he has written in his book, it showed that, look, yeah, he was a jolly good fellow who people loved and who people presented to be well. If we present to the world that IBB is the president, they will agree. And I also think that was what happened in the case of the first coming of Buhari. It must be Diabon.
Yes.
That was the power in charge. You know, Buhari was simply brought in order to placate a segment of the demography, so that they don't say, oh, you've removed a northerner and then you have placed no matter what you say, you have placed somebody whose northern persuasion is doubtful. So that was why Ijabo could not become the head of state. That's why they had to.
All right. You have painted, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as many Nigerians are concerned, you have painted a very rosy picture of the IBB days. Yeah. Now, but people also say that a lot of the humongous corruption that became a feature of the Nigerian state either had their birth under that regime or took flight. I mean, really had wings to really fly because of the way he ran the nation. What do you say to that?
Yeah, corruption. He said it. There has never been an era. If there was an
when
era,
there was no corruption, yes.
If there was an era when there was corruption, it was the political. It was the Buhari days.
The first coming.
Yeah, the Buhari's. No, sorry, Shagari days. That was when the corruption really, everything. Nobody knew where Nigeria was headed to. People were celebrating. Akinloye was celebrating.
Akinloye champagne.
He had the Akinloye champagne.
See our rosy cheeks.
Celebrating his 1 billion and all the rest of them. This was when corruption really was there. Yes, IBB was there. It's like talking about Goodluck Jonathan days. One thing that made Goodluck Jonathan days very excellent was because Jonathan was a structural person. He was like, he used the Mahathir Mohamad and the Indonesian principle of getting a statesman who is in charge and handing over power to the technocrats. That was why if you look at Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, technocrats were in charge. Like this, our man that was in Agric then.
And that's what IBB also did. Let's not forget.
IBB did.
Yes. Bringing in Wole Soyinka, bringing in Kalu Dika Kalu, bringing in so many of them.
This is the kind of thing. That's why I call him the father of modern Nigeria. He was not tribalistic. He was not sectional. I think that area if you handle it so that was why there was a lot of progress. Many industry was booming, things were going, If there are other things,
it even had a semblance of wanting to carry the people along, asking, "Do you want the IMF loan or not?"
There were debates,
debate and
whether
all that
we
and
agreed or not.
A semblance, I say.
A semblance of it.
Right.
So that's why I look at. I like people who handle structures. Ebele Jonathan took the economy, handed over to Okonjo-Iweala. That was why then, now it has returned. They stopped all these calendars. They went to them and said, calendar, how much is
Diary calendar.
Diary's calendar. They discovered they were spending 10 billion for calendar. So what?
Was that under Jonathan?
It was under IB. It was under
Obasanjo, exactly.
But this woman came in again to handle the economy, became like the prime minister. Okonjo-Iweala became like the prime minister.
Yeah.
And was doing a lot of things like, how do you call it, treasury single account. It was Jonathan that started it.
All right.
It was him it was in the works, expecting to be finished when, before he lost power.
Lost it.
So these were the things he did. They were like technocrats handling it. That was why, if you look at the economy of the Goodluck years and the economy of recent times, I don't want to, recent times from Buhari, you could see the difference.
Right, because we have little or no
Yes,
time, and we're going to go on break very shortly.
Yes.
We're all journalists. How did the IBB years treat journalists, especially using the Delegiwa saga as a pointer?
Well, the Delegiwa saga, everything is conspiracy theory. And like you said, nobody has come out with any clear, we can't pin it on the level of IBB. Because everything, Kayode Soyinka is still alive. People are up till now, nobody has said anything. So we cannot accuse IBB for that. QED. That's fact.
Really?
You can't jail him for that. There must be facts. It's not the same, them say. We can't judge IBB on them say.
Now, the Scotland of June 12, 1993, who carries the can for that?
IBB, of course.
All right. I think we go on break on this on that point, and when we get back, we'll bring the phone in and ensure that you are also part of this. Those of you who are interested, and like I said before, which will put on the screen 08029938365. Get ready so that after the break we can do this together.
In the beginning, God created a beautiful world.
3, 2, 1. Action.
And that's why, at Cartoon Television,
we imagine a beautiful world.
We are not just bragging.
We blaze the trail in broadcasting. And it is about you.
At Captain TV, broadcasting is not just about information, education, and entertainment.
It's an aggregation of all you need to know in Nigeria
and around the world to create signal.
At Cartoon Television, we have all it takes to be on top in broadcasting.
Our mission is simple: to project Africa in a truthful yet positive manner.
Wait, we're coming to you in style.
Here we are, starting for September.
Look at what the facts are.
And as you say on Captain TV, imagine a beautiful.
My name is Sheilo BCFR, the Black Comedian of the Federal Republic. I tell you, when it comes to the best of entertainment, the best of news, the best of information, something that is educative, you're right here at the best place to see that. It's Captain TV. You know what? Increase the volume. Keep watching. Don't touch the dial, okay?
It's your girl Nkechi Blessing Sunday. I want you all to keep watching Captain TV.
Please keep watching Captain TV. It is the best TV station in the country. They're doing an amazing job. Please do not touch the dial. Keep watching. Thank you.
My name is Sheilo BCFR, the Black Comedian of the Federal Republic. I tell you, when it comes to the best of entertainment, the best of news, the best of information, something that is educative, you're right here at the best place to see that. It's Captain TV. You know what? Increase the volume. Keep watching. Don't touch the dial, okay?
It's your girl Nkechi Blessing Sunday. I want you all to keep watching Captain TV.
Please keep watching Captain TV. It is the best TV station in the country. They're doing an amazing job. Please do not touch the dial. Keep watching.
In the beginning, God created a beautiful world.
3, 2, 1. Action.
And that's why, at Captain Television,
we imagine a beautiful world.
We are not just bragging.
We blaze the trail in broadcasting. And it is about you.
At Captain TV, broadcasting is not just about information, education, and entertainment.
It's an aggregation of all you need to know in Nigeria
And around the world to create signal.
At Captain Television, we have all it takes to be on top in broadcasting.
Our mission is simple: to project Africa in a truthful yet positive manner.
Wait, we're coming to you in style.
Here we are, starting for September.
Look at what the facts are.
And as you say on Captain TV, imagine a beautiful world.
In the beginning, God created a beautiful world.
3, 2, 1. Action.
and that's why, at Captain Television,
we imagine a beautiful world.
We are not just bragging.
We blaze the trail in broadcasting. And it is about you.
At Captain TV, broadcasting is not just about information, education, and entertainment.
It's an aggregation of all you need to know in Nigeria
and around the world to create signal.
At Captain Television, we have all it takes to be on top in broadcasting.
Our mission is simple: to project Africa in a truthful yet positive manner.
Wait, we're coming to you in style.
Here we are, starting from September.
Look at what the facts are.
And as you say on Captain TV, imagine a beautiful world.
In the beginning, God created a beautiful world.
3, 2, 1. Action.
And that's why, at Cartoon Television,
we imagine a beautiful world.
We are not just bragging.
We blaze the trail in broadcasting. And it is about you.
At Kaftan TV, broadcasting is not just about information.
All right, welcome back. I'm taking a call right away. So let's have your name, your location, and your contribution. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Tell the world your name. Good afternoon. What? All right, you need to call us back. You're not. The network's not kind to you. We're having some break there. Please do call back, and it's open for every other person who's interested. 080-2993-8365. Let's get you on. Yeah. So we ended that session saying that you point blank that IBB should carry the can for the Scotland of June 12th. Now let's proceed quickly. One more topic, as briefly and as quickly as possible. What do you want to talk about? Yeah, you talked about, you listed...
You objected to the Goodluck Jonathan...
okay, let me talk about Goodluck Jonathan. I also...
it was not originally listed. But
but it's an error.
I think you should come in with Yaradua and Doctrine of Necessity after this, if we have the time.
Yeah, I think, and it's this Jonathan issue is good to also discuss right now, because he's in the... He's also topical.
Right.
Because there are speculations here and there. People are cutting him. He's making consultations about 2027. So let's look at his era. One thing that we agree with the era of Jonathan is that there was peace. Jonathan is a man of peace. He's not a troublesome politician. He's not a typical politician
in the Nigerian sense. Yeah, that's why he also said that his ambition is not worth the blood of any Nigerian.
Exactly. He's a gentleman, and I think it was nature that trusts.
Sanya, please hold on and don't lose the train of your thoughts, please. Hello.
Good afternoon.
All right, yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, my greetings to you and all the panelists.
Everybody doesn't know your name,
Oh, Mohammed, sorry, from Maiduguri.
From Maiduguri. Go ahead quickly.
Yeah, this issue you have been celebrating is a good thing. It's a remembrance of all of us. You are reminding us. But the important thing now is what will be the solution.
Exactly. If we have the time, they will give one or two lines of some solution before they go. Yeah, particularly in the case of the lack of healing in this Civil War saga. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. The line is still open. You want to be a part of this? It's 080-2993-8365. Go ahead.
So I was talking about President Jonathan, and I said he's a perfect gentleman. But I'm of the opinion that he did not manage his good fortune very well. He didn't manage it very well because nature was very kind to him. He came a shoeless man, somebody who grew up without shoes, even though at that era, which also I will also say it was my era, and most of us were also playing football on the street without shoes. It wasn't
naked.
Yeah, naked. We were already naked, half naked. So it wasn't really that, for an average politician, it's something that you play up so that you can. And so he got there, You remember all the, he mentioned the doctrine of necessity and so on and so forth, and then he got there, and nature also smiled on him. You know, in Africa, name is important. His name is Good Luck, and he really had good luck to be there, and then the economy smiled on him too. Remember, crude oil was selling at an average of $100 for most of his time in office until around June 2014. But by July, oil prices began to plummet. He made a lot of money in the crude oil account. He also made a lot of money in the external reserves. But at the end, by the time Jonathan was leaving, the economy was already in shambles. It was. We all recall that the current WTO president, DG, Director General of WTO,
who was Minister of Finance,
who was yes, Dr. Okonjo-Iweala, said it publicly that she said it by February 2014. No, was it February 2015, that she was already borrowing money to pay salaries. So where did the money go? All the money that government made and the one that it met, where did the money go? Now, if they had used it, where is it road? Did they build roads with it? And where is the road? Was it water? And where is the water? Is it electricity? Where is the electricity? Even though electricity is another thing entirely, because we are still battling with it. President Tinubu said, if we don't have electricity, we shouldn't vote for him. Now, I don't know who has electricity, I must confess. I don't know, but I won't say that I have electricity in my house, even though he's trying in other areas. But so, Good Luck Jonathan, President Jonathan, I think did not manage his time very well.
All right.
Maybe he allowed people to hijack.
Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Captain. Yes. Can you hear me?
Your name quickly and your location. You're live.
My name is Basil Ekwe.
All right, quickly.
Yes. Nigeria independence at 65. Well, I would say so far so good. Because when you look at the terrain we have come all the way, it is not easy. This is a man that is about 65 years. And when you look around Nigeria, you find out a lot of developments. You know, from the Babangida era, whom I see as a very strong hero. Because Babangida gave Nigeria, the new Nigerian capital, a strong foundation. And that is how all of us are today gathered in Abuja to live and have peace of mind here. That's number one. Number two, during his era too, he implemented a lot of policies that are still very outstanding, that gave room and hope for the common Nigeria at that time, and then launched us into a new era again, where Obasanjo came up and did well and left. Good luck. People tend to blame Good Luck for this or that. Let me tell you, every man makes a mistake in his life and he learns from such a mistake. However, Good Luck had a very good standing and he never erred, because whatever a man does, he may not do accurately at the time. So that is just what happened with his own regime. Now, President Tinubu is articulate. He knows what he's doing. Because this is a man, growing up in Lagos isn't easy. It's like a tiger growing up, let me use a gazelle growing up among lions. If you come to Lagos, you see that there are a lot of men who are strongholds. And President Tinubu at that time knew who he was, and then he started managing his life until he got to a stage where he now became strong. Because when you grew among men who are Adejokun, the passengers and so on.
Ekwe, you know, I like your name. It reminds me of Onyeka Onwenu's song all the time. Ekwe, Ekwe. Now, you've done well. I think you summarized it from the beginning that it's so far so good. Please, let's leave it there because I'm running out of time very seriously. Thank you. Now, so, first of all, I think I need to quickly put this in proper perspective. That when you say that he did well in laying a foundation for the capital city, I do not agree that the person who completed a relay race is the hero of that race. Because if it was faulty from the beginning, then you will not complete in victory. Because the capital city dream started with Murtala Mohammed, if I remember correctly. And then Akionla Aguda and all that. And I was the chairman of the implementation committee or something.
Let me tell you.
So I think that's very
Let me tell you who started.
We don't have time. Quickly.
The person who started the dream for the Federal Capital Territory.
Yes.
The concept.
Yes.
Is General Yakubu Gowon.
All right, good. So it goes this far back.
He flew. They say his first leave after the Civil War. He called the guy in Makode, depot of the Nigerian Air Force.
Air Force, yeah.
Said, get me a helicopter. They gave me a helicopter. He flew around looking for a capital, a suitable location, and then he came here and saw this place between Suleja and Abaji. He said, this is fine. He came down. When he resumed, he called them Murtala Mohammed or Obasanjo, including Buhari, and told them, I have seen the place I'm going to put a capital. Look at it here. So Akionla Aguda simply walked from answer to question. That was why they were given 6 months or 1 year to turn in their report, and they turned in their report in 6 months.
All right. So much history here.
So much history.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, good day.
I didn't hear that.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah.
Okay. Is that Captain TV?
Correct. What's your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, my name is Francis Aguari. I'm calling you from Port Harcourt.
All right, quickly, please.
Yes. Regarding the program you are running on your TV. Yes, I thank God for those 2 moderators you have there.
All right.
And but one thing I like to chip in is at 65, a man at 65 is not supposed to be dwelling in the past. I know Nigeria has been wounded in the past, a lot of bad governance and all the rest, but this is the time for us to think ahead.
Right.
And look at you people that have to be able to attack Russia. Look at other countries, and here we are talking about how another person has jeopardized us and that bad government has jeopardized us. Corruption has eaten deep into us. Why not move ahead so that we should be able to think like others?
Unfortunately and realistically, the truth is that you cannot make progress if you do not know your history. If you do not know where you're coming from, you're not likely to be able to forge the right path ahead. And that's what we're just doing. We're not saying that we want to live in the past. We're saying this is how the past has shaped us. You heard about when Cosmas talked about visiting Kigali and how the Tutsis and the Hutus have healed in spite of the, in fact, far more number of casualties they had than us. And within a shorter space of time. Theirs happened in 84, ours happened in 1967 to 70, and we're still where we are, stuck, like Sanya said, in that unfortunate situation. So, bye-bye. Please listen from Just Watch. God bless you. Thank you so very much. We don't have the time. So you need to conclude in a minute, and because I also have to give him time.
Yeah, so that's it. The conclusion is that President Goodluck Jonathan had opportunity, but I think that he mismanaged it.
Yeah, that's the conclusion. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that future
not necessarily on Goodluck Jonathan.
Yes, future can be bad, but I want us to make this point known that Goodluck Jonathan was sabotaged because America was buying our oil a year into the new regime, into the election. Obama stopped buying Nigerian oil. That Germany had even asked, why are you doing this to Nigeria? Because he was interested in regime change. So that's what happened. He and this man in London, Cameron,
at the time,
they wanted this man back and they sabotaged his economy. But well, I think, like what he's saying, there's need for us to consider the matter of healing.
Right.
If need be, let's go to Kigali.
Permit me, please.
Let's go to South Africa and learn from them.
All right, hello. We need to learn from Kigali, from South Africa, according to Cosmos. Yes, go ahead. What your name and where?
I am John from Lokoja.
Yes, yes.
A man of 65, if he has a house and all essential is not there, is he green? And a man of 65, if his surroundings are full of chaos, is there growth in that? Is there development? As I'm talking to you in Kogi State, there are areas banditry have taken over. You call that independence? In Kwara State, Okeode precisely, see how people are being killed and slaughtered on daily basis. Nigerians, we have to wake up.
All right. Thank you so very much.
I summarize my talk here. A man of 65 years that has a house and essentials are not there is sick.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Now, I need to quickly put this out. The fact that even your claim about the economy being in shambles under Jonathan is quite debatable. It's like what's also happening right now. While the government is backslapping and clapping and saying the economy is turning around, the story of the man on the street does not connect with what the government is saying. So you have the theoretical part and all that. If you go back to the Jonathan days and you ask the average Nigerian right now, as far as Nigerians are concerned, it was a far better picture, because you could buy a bag of rice for 8,000 naira. I remember buying that from what's this popular supermarket in
Sahad.
Sahad. Hello, the last one. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yes.
Good
Good to hear from you, Oga. You've not been calling on my many shows. Go ahead quickly, but you have exactly 1 minute.
You see, no matter what all the past leaders must have done, I think there were certain things they failed to do that is still being acting as plug in the wheels of our progress. For instance, like what is happening between Dangote and Pengasons now shouldn't be if they had planned well ahead, because there were times we have more than enough that even the leaders at that time were saying we have enough money, the problem is how to spend it. Now they bastardized the whole economy. So there were a lot of things they were supposed to have done, which they failed to do, that we are still suffering up to today.
Right.
I pray that God will help us to transform this country. Thank you.
All right, we have no time again. We just must go at this point. There's so much to talk about. Thank you, Yemi Ashaju. And I must just say thank you, Sanya, for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cosmos.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic team. I hope we can do this again very shortly.
Yeah, with you.
All right. Thank you so much, viewers from around the world. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm sure you had a great time with my team. And I hope you told your neighbors there's no place better than Kaftan Television. Go tell them. That's the gospel to preach today. And don't forget, I will be on Matters Arising from 8 to 9 p.m. this evening, and I invite you to be part of my audience. And I must say thank you to this wonderful team that makes production fantastic all the time. Thank you, my production team. It's bye for now. My name is Dayo Omogun, and it's bye from Sanya and Cosmos. Thank you so very much.